Hey, welcome to the podcast. My name is Brad, and this is episode 2 of the Whatever podcast. And today I'm joined by my very good friend, Mr. Jake. How you doing, Jake?
Good, mate. How are you?
Oh, pretty great. I'm here with my mate.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. So, today we're here to talk about, supernatural, aliens, ghosts, things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
We have some stories together.
Oh, do we ever? Oh.
So we're gonna talk about that at the end, I think. But yeah, today is all the conspiracy, supernatural sort of stuff. This is something that we both really enjoy. We've always talked about it. We share lots of different theories and ideas. But before we do that, as is tradition on this podcast, as decided the very first one, we're gonna crack our sody pops, and we're gonna have our little ASMR. So you need to bring it up to the mic. And now you want to pour it slowly into. So bring it up to the mic. Just pour it.
Look at that cola.
That was a nice long one. That was brilliant.
That was a
phenomenal.
That was great. That was like an art to that.
Here's my crack. Never as good as my guess. Never as good as my guess. I don't know, because your pour was so good, I'm just not going to bother with it. Because there's no way to compete with that.
Hey, that's like bartender quality. I don't even bartend, but it happened.
And my other tradition is like to ask people, if you were a Pokemon, which one would you be?
That is a good question. Primate. Got to get me some angry primate.
As in, the thing that evolves from Mankey, and he just wants to hit shit.
That's correct.
Oh man, fair enough. I can see that. Oh dear, but let's just get this done. Let's get it happening.
Let's do it.
This is the podcast with Jake, all about aliens and ghosts.
Touché. No, guys, we've had some pretty interesting theories, me and Brad here. Well, look, I personally am one of those people who definitely is a big believer of aliens or anything supernatural. I mean, there's more to life than what we think is out there. I mean, like, everyone's so sheltered and bubbled up in this whole, oh, that's not real, this is that. But, how many planets are out there, Brad? How many planets are out there that that can contain life force, or so forth.
Apologies, I had the mic on the wrong setting. That's my fault. But yeah, no, Jake's absolutely right. Infinite planets. I think we disagree on some things. Like it's mostly the ghost thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You would you say that you believe in ghosts?
Oh, definitely. I reckon there's definitely something out there that just things that happen that you can't answer. I guess it'd be the same as the alien theories, like there's so many stories out there that people do believe and don't believe. I guess it all comes down to maybe experiences that people may have had.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's hard to, if something can't be explained, it's obviously going to leave an impact.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I think a lot of things that can't be explained, people sort of exaggerate on a bit more with, too. I do agree with that. But I guess, to me too, seeing is believing. So it's like, yeah, well, if you did see something like that, then, that'd be quite different. But then people do say on a psychological level that people's brains sometimes see things that aren't actually there. So, I mean, whether or not you wake up of a morning, you just see, like a slight picket of something that you may have seen in the corner of your eye, and you're like, oh, hang on, what did I just see?
Yep. I
think the brain sort of creates something that's not there. And, I do understand that too. But when you see stuff, that you see around that people have stories with, and visually seeing without effects and stuff, like stuff being moved around the house, and, how do you sort of explain that? I guess, and you do get those things where you sometimes... Have you ever felt that feel where you get that chill down your spine? You're like, oh, this is really unsettling. I don't want to be here.
It's funny, because that's exactly what Dan and I spoke about on the last podcast. This sixth sense that, like, you feel danger, but you can't necessarily see danger.
You can't pick it, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. There are things that can't be explained. And what I say to that is, can't be explained yet.
Yeah, there needs to be obviously more of a science build up around it to prove the fact, I guess. And I guess, but when you think about, say, ghosts and stuff, I mean, there's so many people out there that do over exaggerate it, that make it feel, oh yeah, no, they are real, they're definitely there. But I believe them, but I still need to visually see, how it all is.
So you don't blindly believe. You
I don't
want
blindly,
some kind of
correct.
evidence.
Yeah,
Okay.
I still would love evidence that they are there. But then, would it be more of a shock to the world that if there's solid evidence there, what will people feel? Because it's like something that people have been sheltered about. Then all of a sudden to have it come real, wouldn't it? Sort of cause a lot of.
It would shatter the world.
Yeah, it would shatter the things. It's the same as the aliens, I mean, if there's another life force out there or something.
Yep.
I mean, like, there's a lot of people around that still see loved ones that they've lost, or feel like they have a presence around them. And, those are the type of people, I guess, that ghosts, to me, would seem real. I mean, they have that presence and that feel, or so forth, or vivid dreams and stuff that they've seen. I mean, that's enough evidence for me there. But
see, on the flip side of that, I believe that the human mind can create a lot of different things.
That is correct, yeah.
I think that if you do see a ghost, it could be, it could be some kind of light anomaly that your brain interprets as seeing something. I'm very, because I'm a very open, atheist. I don't believe there's an afterlife or a god. Or anything like that.
I honestly don't really think in that either, to be honest. But
so interesting. You believe in ghosts, but you don't believe in a heaven or because the idea of a ghost is a spirit that's trapped.
Yep.
I think the most common idea of a ghost is someone who hasn't gone to heaven or hell after dying.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty common.
Oh, that's a lot of thing with religion, I guess, that comes down to that they sort of interpret how ghosts are seen. I mean, look, the way I really want to describe ghosts and then compare it, say, to aliens and stuff, like, what do you think that the two have a connection? What if there's an absolute connection to that?
This is something we've talked about, and I think we sort of met in the middle. Maybe, would you say that maybe you subscribe less to the idea of a ghost and maybe more of an unseen force that can't be explained?
I definitely agree.
Because when you think, like I said, when a ghost is usually a human being's soul that's essentially trapped.
Yeah.
But you're saying that maybe, if there's a demon case, maybe that's in connection
like
to
a
an
disturbed
alien.
Soul sort of thing?
Well, I'm thinking, like, if there's a demon that looks unhuman, people claim it to look like something else. Are you saying that there could be in collaboration with like the alien theory?
Yeah, well, look, there's so many things out there, especially, I guess, I don't want to dive too much into religion, but, you got Buddha, right?
Yeah.
And how he's described as people, I mean, these alien type of things visited Earth or whatever and gave these people these abilities or whatever the story goes. I mean, look, religion is formed on so many bases. Like, there's an unknown god that have come down to Earth, right?
Oh, wait. Are you saying that religion has been decided by alien influence?
It could have been. Look, it's just theory. But
the pyramids are a common theory.
Yeah, like when you think of it, like a lot of these things that go way back, there's some sort of being that is powerful, that is able to create life forms or to, show or to give abilities to others, so they say, or a bright light in the sky. Like, back then, they wouldn't have had this sort of technology.
Yeah.
Obviously, look, as I said too, I'm not a huge, into Christianity and stuff like that, or I don't really believe in anything other than that, but what I see is what I believe. But there's definitely something that's an outsourced view that may have influenced these people to start these things, to believe in some sort of god. Or
see, I think it's much more believable that a life form that's outside of our own universe came to Earth because they were billions of years ahead of us.
Definitely, I agree.
Then a magic man died and and came back to life and all, and could heal with his hands.
Yeah.
Just because, like there's no science
Yeah.
or anything behind it. I find that much more believable.
Yeah. No, it's like when you go back to science and stuff, when it goes right back to how Earth was made, you know, we all started in, like, they reckon, like water, you know, we all originated out of there, like cells were created, and then apparently we originated from tadpoles, for God's sake, you know, like...
Yeah, like we
who
were
created
just cells.
Who created that, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, Darwinism is a whole different conversation.
Darwin is hell hot.
Yeah. Only real
Very
Australians will get that one. But yeah, so you're thinking we go as far back as the evolution of man in the beginning?
Oh man, like just like there's so many unanswered things that science hasn't yet, I guess, brought to our attention, or that they still need to maybe investigate further into. Like there's just so many possibilities out there. Like I know they harp on about the Big Bang and all that sort of stuff, but I mean, yeah, that might be in part of the process, but how does that all happen? Like who made that Big Bang?
Well, the idea of the Big Bang is that before the Big Bang there was nothing.
Yeah.
So even if there are aliens, the idea is that the aliens would not have existed
until. So you're saying the Big Bang created absolutely everything?
Yeah.
Right, so
Yeah.
there must be something...
Which, try to imagine nothing. You think of black, right?
Yeah.
But even darkness wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, nothing. My theory is that, you know how you go to sleep, and you don't know you're asleep, but then you just wake up, but you don't remember being asleep?
Yeah.
That's why I imagine nothing. Because you just have no knowledge of that period. Like, there's nothing to think about.
Yeah, no, that's definitely...
That's just a side theory. That's just what I think. But interesting. So you think from the very beginning. So your idea is what you thought was that someone put the Big Bang in motion.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, but if there's someone that's put the Big Bang in motion and created even alien life forms, if on your sort of theory there, then who's the hierarchy of the alien race? Or...
It's never ending.
It's never ending, isn't
never
it? It's
ending.
like it's an ongoing thing. It's
And I think as human beings, we have trouble just accepting things just happen.
Yeah.
Like,
I definitely agree too.
Like, I think we always try to find a reasoning for everything.
Yeah.
I think that's where religion...
That's why it's more of I reckon it's more of a blanket for us.
Yeah.
That's the way I sort of look at that. I mean, don't get me wrong, if people out there listening are very religious, you know, all respect for you guys, and, you know, no disrespect, but that's, I guess, how I view things, you know.
Yeah. You know, like, I think religion... We're getting a different topic altogether. This might be another podcast, but just quickly, religion has good and bad aspects.
Oh, they do. Mate.
You know, and the everyday common religious person is usually a pretty good person.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Yeah.
Like,
That's the staples, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on. Moving on
If
from
we
that.
relate it back, I guess, back to the ghosts, I guess. So, yes, like, obviously having a life force that cannot be seen, but you do have that sixth sense feel. I mean, that's definitely something. There's something that's like that's mirroring what's really happening in what we day-to-day live, that we see and we believe.
What is a ghost? In your definition, what is a ghost?
Something that's seen, but I mean, something. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Something that is not seen, but is felt. Not visually seen, but also a presence of something that you feel can either A, inspire you, or make you feel good, or B, make you feel a negative way.
Do you think they're intelligent?
Look, I mean, they could be just as intelligent as me and you here. But then again, who knows? That's the thing.
Do you think? So you mentioned poltergeists, like moving objects. Oh
and God, stuff yeah.
Do you think it's more likely that they're the spirit of a person?
Yes. Yep.
Or do you think it's more likely it's, say, that deceased person's energy causing things to happen? It might not be intelligent, but their energy, because the idea of a soul is like this energy.
Energy,
right?
yeah.
Is their energy causing this, or do you think that person is in complete control in doing these things?
Look, say for instance, you had your own set ways. You got up of a morning, moved the table, or cleaned it up, so forth. If they had passed away, and that soul is still used to doing that thing over and over, I mean that's one way of looking at it. Yeah. Something that I reckon it still holds traits of people, what they used to be like. Like you got your aggressive sort of ghosts, obviously whether they were criminals or killers or vice versa. I mean, they still have those traits that probably still linger around. People have good experiences with ghosts still. People still have, positive energies that, that don't interfere with their day-to-day living. While you see these things that you see maybe online or vice versa on these ghost shows, something that's really throwing stuff around and giving off that real negative vibe. And normally 9 times out of 10, they're probably in asylums, or they've been a victim of something, or they were a killer or something. I reckon they do hold their traits still after.
What do you think the rules of a ghost is? Like
the rules? Because
you just mentioned like they appear in certain places more often.
Yeah, well, obviously the thing is when someone passes away in that location, normally their soul sort of lingers on, I reckon. And they still continue doing the stuff. Whether or not they have the control over it is what I want to know. But obviously, if they were used to doing something day to day, they'd probably be still lingering around. Like hence why the movement of, say, a chair or a table. Yeah. But it's just there's so many things that obviously that I still have questions for. But this is just me putting shit together that I could probably
this is your personal thoughts and
it's just interesting stuff that you could probably pick up on these things.
Yeah. So which one do you believe more, aliens or ghosts?
Now I would have to say, look, it's very even for me. I reckon, as I said this before, I reckon they have a part of being a part of ghosts. I reckon they have something that's there, that's a connection, I would say.
Okay. So you think ghosts and aliens are closely connected?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Interesting. I have heard this theory quite a few times. Like, I've read it online. Which, like I said, that theory makes more sense to me than just ghosts existing on their own.
Yeah. God, yeah. I reckon there's something behind it.
Why do you think aliens would do that?
Well, so us, we can't see aliens, right? People have claimed to see them. Same thing as ghosts. So what if so when a ghost obviously is there, are they hiding it on us? Are they in a different dimension? Are they in a different sort of reality that we can't see?
So, it's funny you say that because there's a theory that I don't know the exact details, so take this with a grain of salt.
Oh, of course.
But I believe years ago they found evidence. They didn't actually find it, but they found evidence that gives the idea of a fourth dimension.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm not sure if you're aware of dimensions, but there's the second dimension, third dimension. We're in the third.
Yeah, right.
Because we're 3D.
Sure.
Okay. The fourth dimension, I guess, the idea is a dimension where beyond our own. So what's beyond 3D? I don't know.
Yeah.
I imagine some kind of light, some kind of fast traveling network, maybe something that we don't perceive now. But it's basically a dimension that we can't even begin to understand or see, pretty much.
Correct. Yeah.
So you're saying that there's your idea is that aliens might work in this different dimensions, which there's evidence that might be the case of other dimensions existing.
Yeah.
Right. So ghosts are part of this other dimension too, possibly?
I would say they would be. As it yet again this relates back, you can't see aliens, but same as ghosts, you can't see them physically, but there's still something that's there that you can't see, but you can feel it.
The ones that people do see, why do you think that is?
Look, there's so many things out there, like you just don't know what to believe. I mean, people like to sell their story to obviously make a bit of coin or a bit of conversations arise or so forth. They just want to get in the magazines and so forth. But I mean, people that actually have experienced something like that, I would say it would be through a possession. Perhaps. I don't know. Let me just... You know the movie The Fourth Kind, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And at the end where she's possessed and then she's floating in the air doing all weird sort of things.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd visualize something that the aliens would be doing, right, to get the message through across. But then you've got people like, say, just recently, Tom DeLonge, who thinks that there's definitely something out there, but they won't say anything about it yet again. Still, they're like, oh, it's coming.
Tom DeLonge is, something else. If there's someone I'm going to trust about my alien news, it's the bass player from Blink-182.
Yeah, I know, right? Man who goes rock star to full suited up, man.
I mean, you're right. Like, there's these organizations, like the one, I think it's called Cross Star Academy or something that. They say they have all this information, but they won't release it with evidence.
Oh, exactly right. Yeah, they've got all this stuff that's like hidden back. I guess whether or not they're not ready to release it to the world. I mean, if aliens are a physical being and they're living amongst us, I reckon we have a right to know.
Oh, definitely. Like, I'm not sure what the reasoning for it would be to hide it from us. Like,
yeah.
I think the government's worried how we'll react. People would freak out. It would shatter society.
Oh, I think because why it would do that is because the government, or like hierarchies of, they've made it that way. They've made people scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
They've made it so that you live in your little bubble, and if something were to arise, then all hell would break loose.
They'd lose order.
Because there's so much belief and control, that in other systems that they would definitely shatter that. But I reckon they know deep down that there is stuff out there that they just don't want to release to us.
Oh, I'd have no doubt that the government is hiding
so much. They're always doing that.
They're always hiding stuff. Like, that's what they do, really. But yeah, that's a different podcast.
That is yet again. We got as you could tell, guys. Me and Brad have a lot to talk about with these sort of things.
Oh yeah,
it leads into other things, and other things lead into other things, and it's always the great. But let's talk about our experiences at the moment. So there was we touched base on some weird, eerie stuff that's happened down here in Tamworth, specifically at Meldorn Lane. I went and picked Bradley up, and we were going to hang out for the night. I had to go to my nan and pops to feed their cats and dogs,
which is scary enough. A place with no one around.
Yeah, look, Meldorn Lane's it's a bit out of town, out through Oxyvale, and boy oh boy, it's very isolated to town. Now the story goes, so my grandmother who lived down there, across the road from her was a house that a lot of people have passed away in. I think it was about 6 or so people that have passed away, she said. Natural deaths. Yep. There was a couple, like it's been around for years, that house. But anyway, let's get back. We'll get back to that in another section. Me and Brad went around there to feed the cats and dogs, right? And as we were heading up to the cage to feed the cats, we heard some really odd noises, didn't we?
I can only explain it as some... like the noise in the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah,
when they're in the tents.
Yeah,
because it's not a well populated area. It's mostly open fields.
There's no there used to be a cattle farm across the road as well, but there's absolutely no goats, horses, or cows or anything like that at this stage. Like they're pretty much, it's just land. Nan and Pop never had any other animals besides the cats and the dogs, and the noise that we heard when we were going to feed the cat was really scared, wasn't it?
The cat was freaking out.
The cat was freaking out and hissed at us. That
was some bad juju, right?
Yeah, and right there, he never did that at all. And we were looking around after hearing all this weird noises and stuff, and man, we were just freaked out alone. So
I remember the exact moment it happened. You were in the bird cage. And the bird cage. Well, either way, you're in a cage, like feeding one of the animals, and I was outside and I heard this noise, and it sounded like a noise somebody would make to scare someone else.
Oh, definitely.
Like it didn't sound natural at all.
It really sounded like it's a really odd goat cross man bear pig sort of feel. I reckon.
It was so weird. Like a goat wouldn't be able to make that. Like, goats can make crazy noise. It wasn't a goat scream.
Yeah, it wasn't
like,
a goat.
It wasn't.
Guys, just let's clarify that.
It really did sound like a really loud version of the noises from Blair Witch, which are just like.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't a bird. Like that sounds like a bird.
It was something. It wasn't
a bird,
and it was not a cricket at all. Like,
yeah, it didn't sound like that.
But look, anyway, that happened. So me and Brad looked at each other. We panicked a bit. Like, so we had to obviously go back inside. Shut up the house, make sure we locked away all the food and stuff. Turned off the lights. We got back in the car and we started discussing about what we heard, and Brad was like, and I was like too, we're like, look, we need to get out of here. Like, this is weird enough.
Pitch black.
Pitch black. And as soon as we drove out the driveway, we noticed that the lights in the kitchen of my nan's house was still...
No, they
turned on.
They turned on.
That's right, that's correct.
It was darkness, and then we saw it turn on.
Yeah, and I had to go back in, turn it off, and the feeling I had going back in after seeing that. Like, I had to take Brad in with me. I was like, man, this is
like, it was either like, my first thought was, there's someone in this
yeah,
house.
we investigated the house thoroughly. We looked through the cupboards, made sure no one was actually in there intruding, and there was nothing to be seen. There was nothing to be seen at all. Like, it's just interesting enough.
The whole vibe changed.
Yeah, it really did. Like obviously we were a little freaked out at first with the noise that we heard. Then venturing on, and then having seen that and have to go back in the house, like that was, it was something. It was something that really didn't sit well with me. Yeah,
it felt completely different, and this is why I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm so fascinated because I can't explain that night. You know, like I don't have an explanation for that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, like it wasn't like a power surge. Like, no, it was pitch black.
Oh, it's pitch black, man.
There were other houses around, but they were pitch black. No other lights flickered or anything like that. Like nothing.
So then, from this onwards, obviously I told Brad about what Nen had told me about the house across the road. We're going back on the topic now with the people who passed away in the house across the road. Now, we've had a couple... That place there has been trying to sell for a long time, and no one has been able to seem to want to buy it, or the people who were renting there, they didn't last a week or two. They've all had the same stories of different sort of interactions. There's this object that my uncle had purchased for a friend of his, and he gave this certain lady the chair that came from that house, and she had to return it.
Really?
She claimed that it just gave off really bad vibes, and that she actually had felt presence of someone pushing down on her chest while she was sleeping at night.
Oh my lord, I've never heard this before.
So this one is another one that I haven't told you yet. But yes, she had purchased something like that, and she had to return it because it was bad. It was a very weird vibe. But then relating back to the house with people who have passed away in this house, people who actually stayed in that house have said the exact same thing, that someone felt like they were sitting on their chest or pressing down on their chest.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so there's a couple of people that have passed away. So there was also, I believe, a young family, like two kids that had passed away in the house as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people who had rented in there have said the story that they've woken up feeling like they've had people laying next to them, and it turned out to be the kids, or they thought they saw the kids. I would have thought I'd brush that off, but it's happened to 3 people that have stayed at the household. So for 3 people that, the 3 people that don't know each other, to have the same sort of story and interaction is something. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to go back to this house one day to really have a look at it. But you remember that time I took you and Brittany there?
Yeah.
And you guys instantly had a really negative feeling.
I don't want to go near it.
The presence of the house alone. Like, it is a very eerie house. And, I mean, it's been developed on with a couple of rentals at the back of the house. But I used to mow the lawns over there, and boy...
Weird feelings?
Weird feelings all the time, man. It was something.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can look at a house, or a place, or a location, and you just start getting weird vibes from it. Like, I'm sure there's a psychological theory based around that, but... I definitely know that feeling for sure. Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, look, I reckon we'll have to do a segment where I'd have to take you out and show you the house for you guys to visually see what it looks like and tell me what you think.
Definitely.
Or what you feel.
I'm keen. I want to do. I'm gonna say monster hunting. I want to do ghost hunting videos. Definitely. What do you think about ghost hunting shows?
Look, yet again, I think some of them are a bit over exaggerated. I think a lot of them, like, I mean, I've seen a couple of good ones that seem legit. But a lot of it is just for views and, you know, to get real people in. And I mean, everyone's curious. This is the thing of what they play upon. And a lot of people being curious want to see this sort of stuff. And then these guys play on it. Mm-hmm. So then again, it sort of creates that atmosphere as like, oh, is this real or not? You know, and I guess that's what gets people reeled in is curiosity. Yeah. So, I mean, for us, if we were to record, I'm just going to show you exactly what we're seeing right then and there with nothing being put on. Because, tell you what, it's just an eerie place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got a ghost story that's very personal.
Yeah.
Very, happened years ago. So basically, the night that my father passed away.
Right.
That night, you know, we had people in and out of the house and so on. And that night I was staying at my grandmother's with my mother. And the next day we're told by my auntie that my brother, my brother and his girlfriend and the children turned up at her place just terrified.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely terrified. This is the same night my dad passed away.
Sure, yeah.
And basically my brother said that we couldn't be at home, you know, not around people, because apparently at about 2 a.m, my niece, who was very young, I think she might have been like 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Was just randomly in the toy room playing, and she was just playing on like a bike. It was either a bike or a rocking horse.
Yeah, sure.
Just by herself. And my brother got up and said, "Why are you up? Like she doesn't normally do this. Like why are you up right now?" And basically, in broken child language, she said, "Oh, I was playing with Poppy."
Yes, right.
And Jeremy, obviously, Dad passing away that night, was like, "Oh, what did Poppy say to you?" And basically, she turned to him and said, again in broken child language, but she said, "Poppy told me that he's going away for a while, but when I see him again, he's going to bring me chocolate."
Oh.
So she had no idea what had happened.
Yeah.
Like she was a child. She didn't understand. Well, I imagine she'd have a grip of death.
Yeah, of course.
But they didn't sit down and tell them what had happened, you know, properly or anything like that. It was a very, and there was no sadness. Like, to her, it seemed like
it was
someone was actually there with her.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't go like, oh, she wasn't crying because Poppy wasn't there anymore.
So it's like that positive vibe, feelings I was telling you about.
Yeah. Like, there was no negative, to her, it was just someone was there with her.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure, I've thought about this a lot, and I'm so sure someone has said in front of her, "Oh, Paul's passed away," and she's heard it. Or I'm so sure something like that must have happened.
Sure, yeah.
But it's so weird for me for her to then decide, I'm going to go imagine Poppy playing with me in the toy room at 2 a.m,
yeah.
Tell me he's going away for a while, and when I see him again, he's going to give me chocolate. That's so weird. Like, for a 4-year-old to imagine that is just...
Look, Brad, on that topic, I've had something like that. Oh, well, my cousin personally, Jessica, she was 3 years old. 3 or 4, sorry. Yeah, 3 or 4. My uncle Ted, his father had that same incident. He passed away, but he used to love taking out fishing, right? He used to take Jessica out fishing and so forth. Basically, Jessica woke up one morning and was like, putting all the boots on and stuff like that. Like, knowing that he's passed away. They've asked her, "What are you doing? What are you getting ready for?" He's like, "Oh, Poppy's going to take us fishing." So she's obviously, whether or not she's had it in a dream or she's had it there, but for young ones, they seem to always, like, they used to reach out to him, you know? Like,
I reckon they're more in tune.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And there's that, it always seems to be the same case, you know? Like, because obviously he used to love fishing and for her to say, like, Poppy's going to take me fishing.
Mhm.
They were like, what?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's a very odd thing, and I think a lot of the time, usually the young ones are probably the most ones that are visited by loved ones, because obviously, you know,
They're not tainted. They're innocent.
They're innocent.
They see the world through the eyes of a child, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
and for a child to say that, it's not like, I guess, for it to be accurate as that, I don't think that's something that they could make up or imagine, you know? I mean, I know children have quite imaginations, but I reckon definitely that they've had a positive experience out of it.
I don't think a child, like, you know, a young child would ever say something like that with the idea of, I'm going to trick everyone and make them think that I
it's
saw
not
this
like
person.
they have that. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
like that at all. And for that, you know, like, your father was a really good man, and he was around young one, like, obviously very family orientated person, and yeah, I'd say that she's had a positive experience.
Yeah, like, it was just, that's, like,
To see
the
him,
one
yeah.
story that I've just, like, I've thought about it.
Yeah,
I've really thought about it. And, like, yeah, like, someone must have said something in front of her. But even so, I don't know why she would run with that information and make that whole situation.
even if they've said, you know, like, saying if they said in front of her Paul passed, I mean, a lot of the context she used wasn't. It's not like that. She's like, yeah, Poppy was here.
Yeah.
So right there, you know, like, I reckon.
Yeah, and they reckon, like, when someone passes, they I guess they say farewell to certain people. Is the idea. Like, I've never had that experience, but they reckon they farewell certain people, and some people see them and stuff.
Yeah.
And if I think if Dad was to say goodbye, I'm sure he knows that I don't believe in ghosts, so he probably wouldn't have come to me.
He'd come out and scare the shit out of you.
He would give me a right scaring.
Bless him. Yeah.
He would but I think he would say farewell, because he did love those kids. He did care about those kids
definitely.
a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one thing that really stuck with me. Like, I have no fault for that. But yeah,
you're right. It's interesting how the young ones seem to get the effects from it. So
definitely. But yeah, there's a lot that hasn't been explained.
Exactly right. And this is where it's like, so many theories out there, guys, and I mean, a lot of people might have similar experiences or have had experiences themselves at a young age. Yet again, there's nothing that we can really, you know, grain upon solid evidence on, but
Will we ever?
No.
Will we ever have solid evidence?
Not in our time, Brad.
Well, I guess, like, the last question that I have is if you know, because we're all gonna die.
Oh, of course.
If it turns out that this ghost thing is real, and we are intelligent life forms, like, as a ghost.
Yep.
What would you do in your final? Let's just say you have a time period of 5 days as a
Sure.
ghost.
Sure.
Let's just put that rule on there for some reason.
Yep.
What would your last 5 days, you know, before you move on?
If I personally had control over what I was going to do, I would visit all my loved ones, all my family and closest friends, or just watch over them, make sure they're doing okay, and, you know, like, that's me personally, what I would do. I'd make sure 100% everyone was okay, or, you know, being well looked after.
Definitely. I think that's what most people would do.
Yeah.
Is like that final farewell.
Definitely.
Sort of thing.
Yep.
I think I would try so hard to let people know I was here. I think, like, imagine a world where someone dies and we know that we've got so many days to interact with them before they're gone forever.
Yep.
Imagine that. So if I could spend my last existence in this plane of reality letting people know that it is real, I will do that. I tell you what, if I die before you, I will come to you and I will spank your ass and I'll say, alert the media! And then that'll be it.
Alert the media.
But, you know, like, I just think it would be so great if we could prove that this is a thing. And you get that final time with them. Like, that's what I would probably, the main focus would be for me.
Well, I'll know for sure then.
Yeah. Oh, Brad's passed away, but gee, my ass is sore. It's like someone's just been spanking me all the time.
I'll just wake up and go, like, Emily, did you spank me? And it has just a handprint that says Brad in the middle.
And, like, the number for, like, the telegraph is just posted everywhere on the walls.
And then I'll have to go, you know, start my whole journey of bringing Brad back to reality.
Oh dear. But hey, thanks for hanging out and chatting.
No, it was a great discussion, I believe. Like, there's so many things that me and you could touch upon, but maybe in the future podcast we could talk about the government conspiracies and.
Oh, make sure you subscribe for those ones.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We go deep on those. But yeah, Jake, you've got a YouTube channel.
Yes, I do, sir. It's Waytech Games, guys. If you would like to have a look at it, please feel free.
Link in the description to his channel. He's also in my other YouTube. What do they call them on the sidebar?
Oh, the
suggested channels,
featured channels.
Yeah, he's also on my channel on YouTube. But yeah, what do you got coming up, man?
Man, I've got a couple more of Dark Souls games, some Mortal Kombats to catch up on before the new game releases. I will be doing some more Rainbow Six Siege compilations. I might do a top 10 fails of the week.
The spawn peeking video killed me because I'm a big Mario 64 fan, and when you look at the painting and
then run through it, yeah,
it's so good. I love that.
No, look, I appreciate that. That's great. I'm only here to entertain people.
That's so good. But yeah, thank you so much for sitting down. This has been the Whatever Podcast. I, of course, am Brad. This has been Jake. And if you enjoy the podcast, make sure you follow us on iTunes, subscribe on the YouTube channel, and I think I'm also going to try and get this on Spotify.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
So we'll see how we go with that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
And there'll be another podcast very soon. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.